a hopeful smile playing on his lips. Listen, how would you like to go out and grab a quick lunch? Just the two of us. Barbara Jean, however, was already halfway out the door, her gym bag slung over her shoulder. Oh, honey, I can't. I'm going to the gym. Brock's smile faltered. Can't you skip it just this once? Come on, I'll take you to that romantic French place you like so much. Barbara Jean paused, a flicker of temptation in her eyes, then shook her head, a newfound resolve hardening her features. Really? Skip the gym and eat French food? No, confondu bras. And with a quick peck on his cheek, she was gone, leaving Brock standing alone in the kitchen, a look of utter dejection on his face. Reba watched the scene unfold, a strange mixture of pity and a perverse sense of satisfaction swirling within her. She knew that feeling, the sting of being dismissed, of being secondary to something else. Brock sighed, running a hand through his thinning hair. Man, she blew me off again. All she wants to do is go down to the gym and spend time with Jordan, her trainer. Exactly, Reba agreed, her voice dry. Frankly, I like the new butt, but the new attitude, not so much. Brock shot her a glare. Oh, that's really funny coming from the old butt. Reba chuckled, despite herself. Fair enough. Brock, however, was not amused. He paced the kitchen, his anxiety palpable. Jordan's so great. Jordan's so toned and funny. He stopped, turning to Reba, his eyes wide with a dawning horror. Well, I got news for you. Nobody's toned and funny. Brock, you're overreacting. Reba tried to reassure him, though a tiny seed of doubt had begun to sprout in her own mind. Oh, really? Brock challenged, his voice rising. Yeah, I think she might be having an affair with this guy. Reba stared at him, aghast. Barbara Jean with her trainer. I mean, sure, he's probably a better man than you are, better looking and younger. Brock's face fell. But she's Barbara Jean, Reba finished, though even to her own ears, it sounded less convincing than she'd hoped. The new pretty Barbara Jean, the bleached-out Halle Berry, the one who wanted her best girlfriend to meet her best boyfriend. It was all adding up to a very uncomfortable picture. That's it, Reba, Brock declared. His decision made, he grabbed her arm, his grip surprisingly firm. I need you to help me out. I want you to go down to the gym and see if there's anything going on. You know, spy on him for me. Reba pulled her arm away, shaking her head vehemently. No way. You know, Barbara Jean may have a long list of faults, and I have that list if you need a copy, but she is nothing if not faithful. Yeah, right. Up until now, Brock retorted, but now that she's thin and hot, she has all kinds of options. Reba looked at her ex-husband, seeing the raw vulnerability beneath his bluster. His fear was real, even if she believed it to be unfounded. Look, Brock, if it's worrying you that much, be honest with her. Tell her how you feel. Tell her that you just need a hug every now and then. Brock stared at her, then burst out laughing, a harsh, humorless sound. Oh, now, there's a great idea. See, why? Since my competition is a macho muscular dude, your solutions are ridiculous. Reba, takes me to spy on those stupid hard-to-believe they're supposed to be good for you. He trailed off, muttering to himself, his frustration boiling over. Reba watched him, a complicated mix of emotions swirling within her. She didn't want to get involved. Not really. But the image of a distraught Brock, combined with the nagging suspicion in her own mind, made her hesitate. Barbara Jean had changed, undeniably. And change, even good change, could sometimes unravel the delicate threads of a relationship. Chapter 3. The Hot Dog Theory. Later that afternoon, Reba found herself in the living room, trying to focus on a crossword puzzle, but her mind kept drifting back to Brock's frantic plea. The house felt strangely quiet without Barbara Jean's boisterous presence, a quiet that only amplified the lingering tension. Ben and Van, however, were still buzzing with the morning's revelations, or, rather, the lack thereof. Hey, Mrs. H, you off for your power walk? Ben asked, as Reba stood up, stretching her arms above her head. Reba sighed. No, I'm not going for my power walk. This whole physical thing is getting everybody acting wacko. Van, perched on the armrest of the sofa, nodded sagely. What do you mean? Well, your dad thinks that the guy who gave Barb Jean her new body is wanting to take it for a spin, Reba explained, choosing her words carefully. Ben's eyes widened. He probably does. Reba stared at her son. What are you talking about? Guys are pigs. Mom, they're dogs. They're all animals, Ben declared, with the authority of a teenager who had just discovered the complexities of human nature. They just care about hot women. They're hot dogs. He punctuated the last phrase with a dramatic flourish. Van, surprisingly, agreed. My point is that when you've got a hot lady, you gotta keep your guard up at all times. Reba looked from one boy to the other, a flicker of understanding and a pang of something akin to hurt passing through her. I used to. Ben and Van exchanged a quick, uncomfortable glance. You used to, Van repeated, his voice hesitant. No, baby, don't take it like that, Reba quickly clarified, though the words felt hollow even to her. It's just that I've grown into a mature, stable individual, that's all. But the boy's words had struck a nerve. Hot women, keep your guard up. It was an unspoken truth in the world, a harsh reality that she, in her mature, stable phase, had perhaps forgotten. Or, more accurately, had chosen to ignore. Well, I don't like it. Cheyenne's voice suddenly boomed from the doorway. She stormed in, her face flushed, a half-eaten bag of chips clutched in her hand. Where have you been? I went to get something to eat. Reba blinked. The conversation had shifted, as it always did, back to the immediate and the personal. So, Van, you think that Brock might be right about this trainer? Cheyenne asked, her voice tight with concern, her own insecurities about body image, clearly. Van, ever the pragmatist when it came to male motivations, shrugged. Sure, this guy could be hot for Bob Jean, but since Bob Jean isn't looking to play, there's no problem, and it's obvious Bob Jean isn't looking. Reba raised an eyebrow. Why is this obvious? 2 reasons, Van explained, counting them off on his fingers. Bob Jean isn't good at keeping secrets, and she thinks of you as her best friend. If she were fooling around with this guy, she'd be constantly talking about him to you. Heck, she'd probably even want you to meet him. Meet him. The words echoed in Reba's mind. Barbara Jean had, indeed, asked her to meet Jordan, more than once, and she had, indeed, called him her best boyfriend. A cold nut began to form in Reba's stomach. Van's logic, crude as it was, made an uncomfortable amount of sense. She looked at the boys, then at Cheyenne, a decision solidifying in her mind. Where are you going? Ben asked, as Reba grabbed her purse. Go down to the gym with the rest of the wackos, Reba muttered, a grim determination setting in. She might not like it, but she couldn't ignore the possibility any longer. For Brock's sake, and perhaps for her own peace of mind, she had to see for herself. All right, Van called after her, a smirk on his face. Well, keep those arms as... Reba ignored him, her mind already racing. The gym, Jordan, Barbara Jean. The pieces of the puzzle, however, unpalatable, needed to be put together. Chapter 4. The Den of Sweat and Suspicion. The gym was a cacophony of grunts, clanking weights, and the rhythmic thump of pop music. It smelled of sweat, antiseptic, and ambition. Reba stood just inside the entrance, feeling utterly out of place in her sensible jeans and sweater, amidst the sea of neon spandex and sculpted physiques. She clutched her purse like a shield, her eyes scanning the vast space, a mixture of awe and trepidation washing over her. Oh, hey Reba, you came. Barbara Jean's voice, bright and eager, cut through the din. She jogged over, a radiant smile on her face, her cheeks flushed from exertion. She looked fantastic, annoyingly fantastic. Yeah, Reba managed, her gaze still sweeping the room. Man, there's a lot of beautiful people around here. Barbara Jean leaned in, a conspiratorial whisper. You should see them naked in the shower. Reba blinked, momentarily taken aback by the unexpected candor. She then caught sight of a man approaching, his physique a testament to dedication and discipline. He was tall, with broad shoulders and a lean, muscular frame. He exuded an aura of calm confidence, a stark contrast to the frantic energy of the gym. Jordan, Barbara Jean chirped, her eyes lighting up. He smiled, a genuine, warm smile that reached his eyes. Hey, raid starts, Barb Jean. Yeah, Barbara Jean practically bounced with excitement. Hey, you look great in that outfit. Jordan chuckled, running a hand through his perfectly coiffed hair. Oh, well, you know, the other ones get me kind of baggy.